Ocean Heating and Cooling Sports Webb with your host, Brian Webb. Also starring Danny the Limb Hartung, MLB Insider, made possible thanks to First Step Orthotics on the Bypass. WKU Sports Analysis with Casey Warner, presented by Poston Electronics. The one and only Vegas Frank Against the Odds, presented by JBK Network Consulting. Free golf tips with WKU Women's Golf Coach in Gary on the Green from Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill, your Green Egg headquarters. Spotlighting high school athletics with the Culver's Butterburgers Player of the Week. The Coach's Pick with Damon Tabor with plaques from Oak Tree Awards. All guests via the Line X of Bowling Green hotline. And now, the Sports Web.
So welcome to the Sports Web, everybody.
Conspiracy theory.
You know, I woke up today, and I don't exercise like I should, but I did like 50 setups, and I did as many push-ups as I could do. Got a good sweat, got in the shower. I was like, today is the start of a new day and a new era. We've got baseball rolling. NBA will be back. And there's our first caller. Anyway, so, I mean, it's one of those things where as soon as I get in the car, I hear 14 Marlins staff and players have tested positive for COVID. I mean, guys, it's not the greatest news, right?
No. It's kind of thought, it's kind of going the way I thought. There was about a 25% chance they'll finish the season, but the owners had their Monday morning meeting. They said, we're not shutting anything down. We'll just cancel games and make them up if we can. If not, they'll take a loss on them. And, let's stay healthy,
2020
guys.
World Series winner, the last man standing.
Exactly. Stay healthy, fellas. And, it's a difficult thing for me to fathom, but but I there's so many injuries right now. It's sick. But you know what? You got it. That's just because of the early ramp up. I mean, who went down today? Good Lord. Justin Verlander's down.
Yeah, he's done for the season. Yeah.
And so is who just got traded to Texas.
I can't think, but
from Cleveland.
Was it the shortstop?
No, the pitcher, the good pitcher.
Oh, okay.
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
The name will come out. He's done for the season. He had a mild grade 2 tear in his shoulder. People with COVID are down for 2 weeks. This is going to be just a messed up season.
It's going to be nuts, isn't it?
It really is. And, Verlander, I don't see back till September, personally.
Oh, yeah. I think he's done for the
season.
But
he should shut it down. But, he's 37 years old. So, I mean, you don't know how many more years you got left. But we'll see. It's a difficult.
So let's forget about the Marlins and who was looking good thus far over the weekend. White Sox?
Hey, they were looking all right. I mean, 1-2, against the division champion Twins from last year. I'll take that. Pitching didn't look too good, but that offense is going to be fun to watch. Other than that, Danny, I was going to mention to you, did you know that no teams are undefeated after the first weekend? There was no sweeps.
That's cool.
That's great to see, though. That means the whole league's competitive.
Houston was 2-0 at one time. They got beat.
Without trash cans.
Without trash cans.
That's right. That's right.
What's Los Angeles is what, 2-2 or 3-1 maybe?
2-1, yeah. Everybody's played 3 games.
So yeah, it's I think it's just going to be who's healthy enough to withstand the sprint is going to do it. I tell you what, this Arizona team's pretty good, man. They're fun to watch too. They got those young wheels on that team, Cattell and the Marte boys, and they're fun to watch, and their pitcher's pretty decent too. But I like to see Oakland sneak up in there as well. They
whole West, each
they
West
well
is just
this
loaded.
weekend. Oakland played real good, so.
You guys you ever been to Diamondbacks?
No.
Chase Field? No.
Man, I tell you, I saw
awesome.
them play. I saw Barry Bonds during the home run year, and it was he didn't hit one that night. He hit a blazing grounder though, about killed somebody in second. But he had that arm device. He had that elbows, whatever. So, but there's like a hot tub and a pool in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a nice stadium.
I've seen it on television, but I've never been.
I enjoyed it. We had like 6 rows. We were like 6 rows from home plate. It was
nice.
Awesome.
Well, I watched the San Diego Arizona game the other night, and the cutouts they had behind home plate were insanely funny. I mean, there was a whole row of nothing but dogs.
Nice.
German Shepherds.
Cool.
I mean, everything, man. It was funny. And
they need us 3 behind home
then
plate.
right between it, there was a big, huge baby.
big baby, like a pacifier in their mouth.
Yeah, and it looked a little odd, but they're getting a little bit creative. You see a guy on his phone like this, and it's nice. Pretty good.
Typical.
Yeah, but
nice.
No,
it's got to be weird.
They canceled the preseason for NFL.
Yeah, that's
they're full camp down in Titans this week, so it'll be. It should be interesting. I don't have a whole lot more. That's the thing. It's just driving me crazy.
There's not much to have. And nobody's as good a BSer as I am. I'll go ahead and say that. But it's getting even hard for me. And it's cool for the TV show because I've got 30 minutes and a couple interviews and it's over. But for radio, I want to be saying something that people can listen to.
Yeah, I'd like to be a little more positive.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of positive. And today. I had to tape Frank this morning, like 5 o'clock Vegas time, and he and I, you'll hear in our interview. We're never down. We're like up and up all the time. But it was just hard to be, hey, we're all in this thing together, as the cliche goes. But at the end of the day, are we really?
Yeah,
are we really in this together? I don't know.
I don't really want to go there.
I'd like to think so. Come on, guys.
Everybody, what I mean by that, I'm not being political by that. I'm saying, like, individually, we all have different lives, and it affects us all a different way. So we're all under the same umbrella of this thing, but it doesn't touch each of us differently. And, you look at Lou Williams.
Magic
the man,
City.
When you need some wings.
Magic City.
You need some wings. But anyway, so it's just one of those things to where, but going back to that, the NBA, they got it right, man. A bubble is the only way to do this thing and have any chance of success. You're in the medical field, Danny. A bubble really, and we didn't know it, if we had forethought, we didn't know what it was going to look like. But now that we see what's going on in MLB with all these positives, what could happen in other sports like football, that's crucial right now. We're on the precipice of what are we going to do here. Mm-hmm. Like you just said, Danny, you alluded to it, no NFL preseason. Where do we go from here? And you can't bubble NBA, or you can't bubble any other thing but the NBA.
Yeah, you can't bubble baseball.
Yeah, because the teams are too big.
Too big.
Yeah, and you can't bubble that many games for baseball. You could have two separate ones, but it still isn't enough. Zero COVID positive tests in the NBA. I just read for the last week.
So. Zero for the NHL too. So
bubble works.
Yeah, it does.
It does. But you know what? Like I said, a lot of these ball players, they have no self-control. They're going to go out and do whatever the heck they want. They're going to go to restaurants. They're going to go to bars. I don't care what anyone says, unless what they were going to do to people up in Toronto, fine them $750,000. That's the only thing that's going to deter half these guys. But the rest of them are going to do whatever the heck they want because they make a lot of money, which I have no problem guys making. But it gives them they think they're boundaryless. With that kind of dough,
right. Totally.
I would almost probably feel that entitled as well.
I don't know. I think we're all human beings are all relatively alike on the inside. You know?
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, I can't sit here and say if I hit the lottery for $250 million, I can't say for sure. My heart says I'd be the same Brian Webb because I've had awesome things happening in my life that I never got to where I was like, I'm better than you. I've never been there in my life. I don't see myself going there. But like you said, Danny, if you had that much freedom and money, and who knows what your psyche would do.
Yeah, I know. I'm better than you, and we know it.
We know it. Me and my 7 personalities are better than you. I don't know. It's
hard to say what you do, but $250 million. I'd be a different person.
Let's talk about
I would be an ass.
Let's talk about Seahawks.
All right, Danny. All right,
Let's talk about Seahawks. Jamal Adams, how much does it help that second? It's big to have him in safety.
I think it really helps this team, but at the end of the day, they're in the toughest division in football, and I think it's still going to be a war for that NFC West.
Oh, so totally.
As much as I love Jamal Adams, quality defensive player, one of the best safeties in the league, it certainly helps that Seattle defense. But in other words, I'm not scared of Seattle. I don't think they're one of the elite teams in the NFC.
They're going back to the Legion of Boom again.
They just might, but I still think they're more of a wild card team.
I agree,
but it certainly improves their secondary.
You're still not.
They're kind of a Jenga team.
Get back,
but
they're not going to get back to Rams.
Here's the thing. Here's the real question though. Should they have given up 2 first rounders?
That was my next thing.
Adams? I don't
are
think
the Jets
so.
The big winner in this?
Yes,
I
2
think
first
so,
rounders.
Don't you?
Oh yeah. Look at the teams who've had multiple first rounders the past couple of years. The Dolphins, the Browns. The Browns have gotten a little bit better. Give them that. And then the Dolphins, who we think are going to be pretty decent this year with Tua. So they've both had multiple first round picks. So I'd say those teams usually come out on the winning side of things.
I want to get to see what Tua does.
I do too. I'm anxious to see Tank for
He's
Tua.
ready. He's been cleared.
Of course he's ready.
Oh yeah. He's ready. He's ready to rock.
I think he's going to be a lot like Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. I think it's.
I don't know if he's that elusive.
I'm not saying he's that good.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot like that. Kyler Murray, I guess, very similar.
Yeah. So
it's going to help them tremendously.
Oh, absolutely. Better than what they've had. Come on, man.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are enjoying one of those guys.
Oh yeah. That's true.
The Titans. I don't know that they're as good as they may think.
They're still picking them high. They really are.
I think it's a little bit too high.
Yeah, I do too.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Titans. I'd love to see them win the whole thing.
Colts, I think, are the toughest team in that division probably this year.
Now,
with Phillip Rivers,
but we saw the end of Phillip last year. He didn't. He didn't
look his
look
best.
good,
and
man.
Then with that line though, and those weapons, you got to think they drafted Jonathan Taylor to add with Marlon Mack. I really like that. You still got T.Y. Hilton. When he's healthy, he's good. And we got our man Jack Doyle still holding things down over there for Indy. So that's
Jack Doyle.
Yeah.
Doyle rules.
Tight end to you, man. So I think Indy's the favorite in that division, and then Texans are right there. But I don't know how they're going to be without Hopkins. So.
That's a huge piece.
They got Brandon Cooks. Cooks has upside, but he can't stay healthy.
He's a step better than everybody when he's healthy, though. He's a step quicker than everybody. And he's got great hands. I would love to have him as a cowboy. Yeah. I really would.
He quits on routes on me. When I watch him play, to me, he's a good route runner, but he quits on the route. He never finishes them, and to me, that drives me crazy.
Hey, and that's why
he did that with New Orleans. He did.
Well, you don't hold that coverage long enough when you're doing that.
Exactly.
That's true. Your defensive coach don't like it,
because they know he's not going to finish it.
Plus, it's just like poker. You learn people's mannerisms, their skills. You know,
you get read easily.
You get read. These guys are pros, man. Yeah. They're the pros. Mm-hmm. They know what they're doing out there. So you can't lay off on a play. You really, really can't. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about Tiger Woods a little bit. He is not playing this weekend, Danny. I want to get your thoughts on Tiger and if there's possibly a re-injury or something we don't know about. But don't go anywhere. We're coming right back on ESPN 1027 Sports Webb, ESPN1027.com.
This is Mike Keith, voice of the Tennessee Titans, and you're listening to the Sports Web on ESPN Radio 102.7.
Things about little boys and little girls is when they grow up, they want to be just like you. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. So to moms and dads, aunts and uncles, and grandparents everywhere, remember this. The next time you get in the car and don't buckle your seatbelt, a little boy is watching. And when you decide to text or dial and talk while driving, a little girl is watching your every move. And when you head down the road with a beer or cocktail in the car, that little person next to you is taking it all in. In this life, you have an awesome responsibility to those children who love you the most and want to be you in every way. So make a pledge today to be a good role model to these kids and their friends so that little boy and that little girl get to grow up and be just like you. Morgan & Morgan, for our children.
All cases handled by our Kentucky licensed attorneys.
Watching new movies on demand demands Post and Electronics. Now that Hollywood's skipping the theater, choose Poston for big picture, big clarity, and big screen sound at home. While the theaters closed, Post and Electronics renovated and expanded, bringing Southern Kentucky more at home and on the go. It's what they've done since 1974, just bigger. Forget tickets for the family. Think of what you'll save on popcorn. On Demand is here to stay. For your home theater, demand Post and Electronics across from Firestone on Broadway Avenue.
Culver's wouldn't be what it is today without the family farms that grow and produce the wholesome, delicious food we so proudly serve. From the cattle ranches of the Great Plains To the dairy farms of Wisconsin and south to Georgia's chicken country, it's important to us to make sure farm families across the nation clearly see how Culver's remains committed to sourcing the finest ingredients America's growers have to offer and how thankful we are for their hard work and dedication. Culver's, Scottsville Road in front of Greenwood High. Welcome to Delicious.
Hi, this is Danny Hartung with First Step Prosthetics. Jeremy Harris and I would like to thank the people of Bowling Green and the surrounding areas for their support of the last 10 years. We are proud to announce that we have been celebrating over a decade of service to this community. We're going strong with the utmost care for patients. We strive to provide the new and latest technology for the care of our patients and whatever their specific needs should be. Take the next step with us. Next Batteries Plus on the bypass, or visit us at firststepprosthetics.com.
Bathroom trips during the day.
Welcome back. Sports Webb having some difficulties here.
Yeah, I'll say.
If you're hearing fine, you shouldn't be hearing it now, only during the commercial breaks, but we're figuring it out. We had a technical problem last week, as you know, especially if you listened to Soki's Outdoors last week. It was a good show, but we've been having some craziness. Hey, let's talk some sports. We'll worry about that later. Let Bratcher mess with it. But, man, I tell you, Tiger, I mean, I get so excited last year. You know, wins a major. I mean, I get so excited last year about him, and I'm not sure what's going on with him. I mean, he's not playing a St. Jude, which is a tournament you would think that he would definitely put up on the list.
But he likes the WGC tournaments because, you know, he actually does real well down in Mexico, St. Jude's. But I think he just dials up for these majors anymore. He's just, you know, he'll play a couple tournaments maybe before PGA's coming up, and then because that's going to be their first major this year, and or excuse me, is this the first one?
They're coming up, be the first major.
Yeah.
And then move everything back.
Exactly, and then they'll have
there'll be no Open.
There'll be no British, and so they'll have the U.S. and then the Masters in November. But I think he just likes to dial up for those and just shooting for old Jack's record and putting him away. And then I think he's going to pretty much just he's got enough money he can fade into the sunset.
Of course.
As soon as he beats Jack, you know, he'll play every so often out in Vegas or in California in the beginning of the year and do his thing out there. But you know, I think he's earned it.
So you know? Are we at a consensus here that we think he's gonna? Do we all think he's gonna pass Jack? Do we think so?
No,
I do.
You don't? You?
No.
Y'all don't think so?
No, I think
you do. Yeah, I think he will too. I think that's the reason he's sitting out. I think he just wants to get 100% right.
Totally
you know, I don't blame him, especially with everything going on right now. What better time to do it? So
who knows?
I think there's more to that Jack record than majors, though.
There is.
He knows this course better. Who knows these courses better than him? I mean,
nobody.
He's played them all. I mean, you know, knows where to hit the ball. Knows how the greens roll. 2 years ago, I would have said no way. But after he won last year, I was just like,
well, and listen, I'm as big a Tiger fan as you're going to find. But at the end of the day, here's what I think. I think it's got to do with the crowd. I think he thrives off.
He does eat that up.
Like Happy Gilmore, man. Yeah,
there's nothing you can do about it now. I mean, this year, but you know, he's got some years left in him. So
somebody learned how to putt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why don't I just hit it in the hole the first time in every hole?
Right. See, that's the best way to play golf, man. I'm telling you.
Feel the flow.
It's an easy game.
Feel in the flow. I just, you know, here's the sad thing about it. And you know, like Danny said, he's earned it. He can do whatever he wants, you know. I just feel like, man, it's such a big thing for the game that it's not all about Tiger anymore. Tiger's taking on his own, you know, he's got his own hemisphere, his own atmosphere.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
You know who it's all been about recently? It's all been about Bryson DeChambeau. It's like the modern day Happy Gilmore, man.
Yeah, he's different. DeChambeau's a little different, but he went crazy the other week. I mean, he did pull a 10 cup there, got a 10.
You think,
yeah, but they played the same course the same week. They doubled up what they do there. They can dumb that course down like they did the first week. Second week they came out, couldn't break 6 under.
I'm thinking whenever they have the next Pro-Am, they should pair him up with Bob Barker. That would be a good pairing, I think.
The price is wrong, bleep.
Yes, sir. The classics.
Great stuff. Well, what about the NHL, man? We got some listeners that love the NHL. One right across the street in Kirk Tinsley.
Yeah, Kurt's good, dude.
What's going on? Bring me up to speed. I haven't really been.
Well, they're practicing now. They're opening August 1s, which is next Saturday.
So they figured out how to get to the Canadiens down here, and everything worked out, I guess.
But no, they're open all in Edmonton.
Yeah, it's all in Edmonton, and I think the other town was Ottawa. Right. Was it Edmonton and Ottawa? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll have to. You won't get to see a Preds game this year.
Sure, you will on television.
Well, maybe on television.
Oh, no,
not in person.
No catfish are going to be flying over your head.
Nobody's going to Bridgestone.
But you know what? We'll be with them in heart. But I'm excited for that again because I love watching the Preds. I like watching hockey play.
And every game's going to be like a playoff game. So it's going to be 20. What is it? It's 22 teams, right? So I mean, it's going to be
fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be real interesting.
Do you feel like we're going to have a Marlins situation out of the NHL? Is it avoidable?
It's less likely with the host cities. I think just the two cities.
I'll tell you what, Canada's being a lot more careful than we are.
Yeah,
I think that's true.
So Canada seems to have it on lock. So maybe it can be successful.
Real estate in Canada.
Open,
a little bit open. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let's talk about our first of all baseball. What baseball we had to talk about was brought to you by First Step Orthotics. Right there on the 31W bypass, you can go in there and actually touch and feel. Well, probably not during COVID, but you can go in there and see the limb in action.
Such an honor.
It's a marvel.
That, right?
It's a marvel to watch him work. Actually, it is. It's cool if you see what he does. I mean, he's a master at his craft. No question.
Been a while, buddy. We've been doing
it a few years.
Oh yeah.
Been doing it a few years. I hope I don't need you, but that's the place says. I'm going. And if you got a doctor out there, tell them, hey, refer me to First Step.
Absolutely.
Orthotics.
If we haven't gotten to them first, you can.
You probably already have, but just in case.
We try to get
do a good job over there. Check them out.
Thank you.
Get on their website, check them out, see what they do. But, man, let's talk a little bit about, let's do our Culver's Butterburgers Player of the Week. Obviously, we're going to start doing golf, though, so I wanted to give everybody a heads up. Very, very cool thing until football starts, and if it doesn't start, we'll carry it on. But we're gonna highlight golfers, man, because we never get to on the show. I only have so much time, and I have to pin it down to football and basketball and girls softball. But we're gonna do golf, so I'll be looking for me to be interviewing some of these young girls and guys that are great at golf and doing good things. And that's been cool. That's been one thing out of this that's given me hope. Golf has kind of been safe so far. You haven't really heard much coming out of that, Danny.
No, they had I think 2. What I've heard of were asymptomatic, so they just had to cut them off for a couple of weeks. But if you're a golfer, if you're on a pro tour, all you missed is 2 weeks.
Pretty much. I mean, really. I mean, the West Coast swing.
Exactly.
Maybe.
I mean, you missed the Florida Peninsula.
See down there.
Yeah. But I
love that course.
To me, that's a little bit easier. You can rebound a little bit more. If you're winning. But Harris English was one of them. I know that. And there was one other British guy that got it, but after that, we haven't heard anything more.
And I haven't heard anything out of the high school level, anything like that. Any downers?
No, nothing.
Seems to be good, and that's anything positive right now we can get other than a COVID test is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. No, you're exactly right, man. I mean, there's been a lot of time without sports, and that's why I was happy to just get some baseball back this weekend. So let's keep that on track with NBA starting Thursday, man. It's going to be be nice.
Let's just. I feel like that's going to be the thing that we get to. I mean, kind of grasp and enjoy that won't go away. I think they'll finish that season. At first, I didn't know, but now that I hear all like Danny talked about earlier, I mean, if you got that many guys around, and then plus their families, plus other people, and there's not been positive. That's a really good thing. So I feel like we're going to get to have some NBA. But that brings me to my next guy, he's not actually NBA, Danny, but he's going to Greece. Greece is the word.
You heard.
Jared Savage, baby, Warren Central product and a big time hill topper. One of my top 5 favorites of all time. We had him on last night, Hunter Smith and I did on Sports Connection.
Sweet.
Great time with him, and he's excited. I think he's going to be playing for the Livrio megabolts is what it looks
right.
like. Yeah,
all right. I like that.
I don't know. I've kind of been studying it this week and looking at Greek basketball, and it seems kind of cool. But he's a 6'5", 200-pounder. He's going to be one of the bigs over there. So he's not used to that. He's used to being, guard / forward, shooting guy. 80 career though. Guess his career. You're a Hilltopper. Guess his career free throw average.
I'm going to say 83.
You're on it. It was about 82
all
points.
All right, sweet.
You're right. I round up. I round up,
We
baby.
round up everything.
All right,
Except for my golf strokes.
Except for change.
I round down on the golf
yeah.
strokes. What change? There's no change.
No change.
Listen, if you get any change, I got like 6 buckets full at my house. So come over.
All right.
I'll supply everybody with some change. But no, Culver's Butterburgers, baby. Get over there, Scottsville Road. I just put the Dre Boyd plaque up there last week. It looks really, really good on the wall. You can't get to it because it's behind this barricade for COVID. But, their dining room's open. But we heard today, man, restaurants back to 25%. Bars are going to be closed.
They opened too quick?
Daggone it. I think they did maybe jump the gun on it.
I think they did. I know they did in Nashville. Well, certainly did because they're already kicking back twice. So I
guess if we ever have another COVID in a few years, we'll kind of have a better game.
I'm just going to walk around. I'm just going to walk around with one of those shooters and shoot you.
One of those temperature gauges.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me until
exactly.
that might be the thing.
Hold still. Let me take your temp right here. So,
what do you got for us, Casey?
What do I got? Oh, I just got some recruiting news. There was a recent commit to WKU over this past weekend. Jeremiah McClendon, 3-star defensive back out of Atlantic Community, Florida. He's a long, athletic safety. He'll hit you too, man. He's 6 foot, 160 pounds. He said he'll play anywhere in the defensive backfield, and he's really happy and excited to be a Hilltopper. So they gained some
That's
good
a big win for us.
Class of 2021. So hopefully he'll get to have his senior season, and if not, I'm sure he'll be a Hilltopper next year, and I think he will contribute pretty soon because he's a good athlete.
That's good news. I saw that this weekend. That was really good news. And let's talk a little bit about a thing that I saw yesterday. They ranked the Conference USA coaches. They got Tyson Helton
at 9.
Yeah,
that's pretty disappointing.
What in the world? I mean,
took a 3-9 squad to 9-4. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, if you're just going by his one season as a head coach, he's still good enough to be in the top. I say top 3.
Definitely.
Some people say top 5, but not 9. Maybe top 10 in the nation. Maybe.
Who was number 1? Was it Lane Kiffin? I'm sure Lane Kiffin.
You know what? Maybe he was up there. But,
yeah.
but guess who was number 2? And this blows my mind.
Who was it?
Willie. You ain't got to boo nobody Taggart.
Willie Taggart.
I mean, I was like, what? I mean, how does that?
He's been pretty disappointing.
Don't get me wrong, I love
Willie,
Taggart,
but he's been disappointing as a coach to this point.
Top 2 coaches.
Lane Kiffin down at Ole Miss now, so that'll be interesting as hell.
That should be fun.
Sam's looking
great coach though.
So
I've heard he's probably not
good
the
defensive
sweetest guy to be around. But I don't know. A lot of those guys that are winners are like that. They're all about their drive and their sport, and they're not there to make friends.
His dad was much better. Monty Kiffin.
Oh, Monty. That's a great defensive coordinator right there. He's a heck of a coach.
He was at Nebraska for a while.
As well.
He did. Yep.
Yeah. What do you rank him? Before we
Tyson? I'll give him
Conference USA.
Definitely top 5. I'll say 3 or 4. Three or 4. Just because because of lack of a resume. He's only got 1 season under his belt.
But he has plenty of. He does. Offensive coordinator.
I mean, USC, Tennessee,
in there.
Tennessee. Those are Power 5.
UAB. I mean, he's done some
up there,
great things. And if you go back, just you don't have to look very far. You can look back at WKU and 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, the things that he and Brahms together, man. They're like the Smash Brothers, dude. I mean, you get those 2 guys together, and it's lightning. I mean, lightning in a bottle, so I don't know. All right, guys, give me a good point before we close.
All right, how about this? We got the Battle for L.A. coming up Thursday night. We got Lakers at Clippers. Or excuse me, Clippers at Lakers. 8 p.m. Central Time, Thursday night on TNT. Lakers are favored by 4.5.
I'll take the Clip.
Who are you all taking?
Lakers.
Lakers? Okay. Do we think LeBron's going to ride this bubble out nicely? Is he going to get his 4th ring? What do we think?
Very good shot.
Good a chance as ever.
I like the shot. I really do.
I think
really good.
I think it's the Bucks to lose personally, but
I'm up there with you on that. What about Toronto? How are they looking? I mean, they're going to be.
They're there again. They don't have Kawhi, so it's going to be difficult without him.
I don't think it's going to crush them not having Kawhi.
No, and then you got the Celtics and the Sixers there in the East as well. So
I'm a Celtics guy.
Yeah,
so it's to see that.
It's going to be tight in the East. It's going to be tight all the way around. That's what I think is good about this bubble is the way they have it set up with all the top teams playing each other for seeding. So I think it's going to be great.
You're going to see, and it's funny. I'll bring this up. My boss said he was at a training, and preseason baseball, exhibition baseball was on, and he said you would have thought it was the World Series. I mean, that's how people just missed it so much.
Yep.
Just glued to watching preseason
I was getting hyped when the Sox beat the Cubs 2 out of 2 games.
Yeah. You were getting up at 3 a.m. and watching KBO. Man, I'll tell you guys are a lot of fun. Probably tougher show just because all the news come out this morning.
And the technical difficulties, man. We couldn't catch a break today.
Couldn't catch a break. But we know our listeners are there, and we appreciate every one of you. So we'll be back next week with some good news, I'm hoping.
Yeah, Yankees Sox tonight. Chill and chillax. We love you all. We gone.
Yes, sir.
102.7.
The sounds of summer. We're more grateful for them now than ever. Willow Oaks Golf Club is putting your family first when it comes to health and safety. Willow Oaks is thankful to provide the opportunity to have fun, memorable moments while social distancing. Willow Oaks offers a beautiful golf course, restaurant, and now you and your family can enjoy the swimming pool. Become a member today at Willow Oaks Golf Club. Please contact Willow Oaks with any questions. 270-308-OAKS.
Gary Force Paint and Body Shop stands with Southern Kentucky in this pandemic because they know if you've ever driven in Bowling Green, you can survive anything. A natural name change? I just don't see a one there. It's just I-6, an entire Fountain Square renovation. Oh, there's a spot. Park over there. And, of course, the roundabout.
Hey, I think I finally got this whole roundabout thing down.
We made it through that, and we'll make it through this. Together. Gary Force Paint and Body Shop, Bowling Green's iCar Gold Certified body shop that works with all major insurance, behind the post office on Vanderbilt Drive.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
JBK Network Consulting and Cisco Systems have long been partners in Hilltopper Country. We have served South Central Kentucky since 1992 and now serve customers throughout the Commonwealth and in 19 states. With the power of Cisco Systems, JBK Network Consulting offers a complete lineup of voice-over IP, wireless indoor and outdoor, and digital signage for both information and entertainment sales and services. Looking to expand or just want to start on rock-solid ground? Conveniently located in Bowling Green, JBK Network Consulting, where we are IP everything.
Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
Stop! $200 in chips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir? Bet. Hit me.
It's a bust.
Whoa! I am on fire.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
Vegas Frank on the Lennox Hotline. Sunny Las Vegas, Nevada is where he's at on the map. And he's on the Lennox Hotline with us on the Sports Webb like he is every week. What's up, Frank?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, my goodness. I'm doing better than the Marlins.
Yeah. This is kind of what we were afraid of, and it seems like, this is a trend that baseball was definitely concerned about, and I think that this is going to be scary times the next few days.
man, it really is. You got, including staff and players, 14 of them. They're quarantined in Philly, basically. Haven't even left from yesterday, canceling tonight's game. Man, I tell you what, this is what we didn't want to see, but really, was it avoidable? I mean, I don't know that it's avoidable. And we're going to have to see how this is handled going forward, because this could be a ripple effect to where we may not see college football, high school sports, no NFL. I mean, I'm afraid it's trending that way, but... And here's the thing, if so many people get sick, your whole team can't play, So we were talking early on in the early weeks of this, what's going to happen if 2 or 3 guys, if your starting quarterback, et cetera, get this thing, it's going to be 2 weeks before they can play. So I don't even know if we're going to get that far. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, we had the starting pitcher last night for the Marlins.
Yeah.
Urania was one of the 4 players that had contracted, and you mentioned it. Since then now 14 players and staff tested positive. They are quarantined in Philly. The game against Baltimore has been canceled for tonight. You have to think about this like 6 degrees of separation type of thing. Start expanding the map a little bit. The Yankees are supposed to be playing the Phillies now, in another series. Do the Yankees want to go into that locker room? Do the Yankees want to be there? So, I mean, going forward, this is creating a lot of, it's a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect in a bad sense. We were worried about, we start to look at the other professional leagues that talked about this bubble. Everybody thought that the NBA bubble was so strange, but it might be
the only way. It's the only way.
They've got to follow. It might be.
It's the only way. And you cannot bubble Major League Baseball or the National Football League, Frank. There's no way to do it. There's no way to get it done. And that's the scary part of this thing. And the NBA, obviously, in light of, hindsight's 2020, they did. They nailed it. That's the only way to get it done. But then you've got the rogue people who are not going to follow the rules. One, Lou Williams, veteran in the league, greatest 6 man in the game, was on excused absence, and I guess those were some really good wings there for him to want to go that far all the way up to Atlanta from Orlando to get those. I mean, I've got some food cravings, but they don't take me 6 hours, Frank, to get there. I'm not sure he was just there for the wings, and if they were hot wings, and I got a feeling he was there for the legs and thighs as well.
They were definitely hot wings, and the other things you just said. Listen, I don't know what the wings are like in Florida. I haven't had chicken wings in Florida in many years, but I mean, I'm sure that there's a place he could have gone to somewhere in the area. He probably could have ordered in
Uber Eats, man.
He could have Uber Eats some wings. But it's unfortunate. These guys have got to be paying attention to the situation that they have. This is now a basketball marathon, essentially. We are a couple days away from this season restarting for the NBA players, and they're going to be pretty busy now for the next 8-9 weeks. So they've got to really focus in, and you wonder how this momentum will carry from game to game and week to week, with these players kind of being isolated in this situation where they don't have the travel. And this is what's going to benefit, I think, the NBA and potentially what the NHL is going to be doing too. They have like 2 locations, I believe, maybe 3, where the teams are going to be isolated to, so there won't be travel there either.
That's the only way to get it done. I mean, and the daily testing, that sort of thing. I mean, you're able to do that in the bubble. It's so hard to rein that in, with a big roster and different cities and away games. And I mean, you're going to get exposed to it one way or the other. I mean, it's one of those things to where there's just no foolproof plan whatsoever, but the bubble is the closest thing we get to it, Frank. It really is. And I don't know what the NFL can adopt to ensure an opening of the season in 2020. I'm worried about it now. I wasn't that worried about it until this came out.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't either. I mean, think about the spike. Think about what we were thinking that people were discussing. Everybody in the media was saying that there was going to be this big spike in cases when we got to the fall. Well, what's happened in the summer has been spikes all over the country, different areas that you weren't expecting. I mean, here in particular, we didn't expect there to be all these spikes of cases in southern Nevada, and now It's gotten really scary, and it's something that people have to take more seriously. It's up to everybody really to kind of pay more attention and take more responsibility when it comes to these cases. You know, you got to stay home, I guess. I mean, 2020 is a wash. You know, I've watched all the Netflix I can, but I guess I got to go rewatch it.
Round two.
Round two, yeah.
I mean, and I'm being funny, but leave it up to the Marlins to screw this thing up, man.
Oh, gosh.
That's so bad. I'm sorry for any South Florida people or Marlins fans. Man, I tell you, though, NFL, I mean, I just want to see this thing. I mean, things are rolling. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff going on, and we're getting so close to the start of it. No preseason. Now you kind of see why they did that. But, it's one of those things to where I just don't think we're ever going to get out of the gate. I don't know if we'll ever have sports again, Frank.
Well, I mean, this season is certainly in jeopardy for many sports. You mentioned briefly the college football, high school sports. I mean, we don't know what level of managing this and containing this we're going to be at when we get into September, October. But I mean, all those signs are trending that we're not going to be in a really good position. But we have to hope that things are advanced enough to where, in a good sense, that things are advanced enough to where people can participate in sports. We want to see sports. We all love sports as fans. We all love sports. We want to see it happen, but it seems like we are going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And, these seasons coming up at least through the end of the year, it might be a wash.
Yeah, not looking good, man. It's really not. And I think this is the test to see how this gets handled, to see how much panic is rocked through these professional sports and trickling down to the NCAA and high school. I mean, we're going to have to see if we can weather this storm. I mean, if this is the only incidents and if they fix it quickly and things go well, then it could go the other way for us. I want to try to have optimism. I don't want to lose optimism. But there's other things that you're getting to see by watching Major League Baseball. I mean, it's so funny to see managers out there. They run up to, used to you would see them kicking the dirt on the umpires and, really getting up in their face, spit flying. Not anymore, man. They run up to each other and they immediately stop about 6 feet, and their muffled voices. They don't even know what the other guy's hardly saying. But at least there's no fans to muffle it. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just funny. I want to know who's buying our cardboard cutouts though, for the stands. I mean, I think Vegas Frank and Mush should have one somewhere near home plate.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I don't know if you really want a cardboard cutout of us at a game. I don't know if you want that. If you're taking a picture of us outside the stadium before the game is taking place, and then you're putting that cardboard cutout in the seat, that's one thing. But I don't know if you want us during, the sixth inning or the third quarter. I don't know if you want us. If you don't want a picture of that, it might be a little different.
The cardboard adds at least 100 pounds, Frank, and
it would in our case.
We don't need that. I don't know. I mean, man, I just honestly, I just pray that it works out because, man, this country, we need some smiling. I mean, since March the 14th, I haven't done an abundance of smiling, and I'm an optimistic guy, so I know it's got to be hard on people that are already depressed or not not having a great week or year or whatever. I mean, none of us are having that great of a year, but I don't know, we'll just see how it goes down. But we can't have guys going off the out of the bubble in the NBA, because the NBA is important for this thing. It's kind of like the glue for this thing to go forward in the fall, I think. And I thought the same about Major League Baseball, but they've already got me worried.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that same boat with you. Baseball is going to have to make an adjustment on the fly. I mean, you're talking about 60 games. Now the Marlins potentially they've lost one game, and so is Baltimore. And they're going to potentially lose more. How does this affect Baltimore's travel schedule now going forward? But they're in Miami for Miami's home opener, and Miami's not even there.
Oh, my goodness.
So how is this going to affect, how are they have this condensed season to 60 days, to 2 months. They have this condensed season. How are they going to manage this going forward? What adjustments are going to be made? What decisions are going to be made, in the next couple of days in order for them to kind of make this up? If that's even an option, I don't know what you do going forward because we're an unprecedented time right now. I don't know what happens, but it doesn't look good. This was baseball's fear, and it happened 4 days into the
I
season
know it did not take long, did it, man? It was like less than a microwave pizza. I mean,
it's not good.
Oh, my goodness gracious. You know what they could do? The Orioles could take on, we could get a roster of about 20 of the best PE teachers in the Miami area and let them come in and play the Orioles.
You know what? I'd watch that.
I'd totally watch that, man. All right, so out of the NFL, we'll switch gears. Jamal Adams, I guess, looks like he's going to be a Seahawk. Does it help their bid for a Super Bowl payout? I mean, or is that not that going to be that? Because they really needed some defensive help, especially at safety.
Well, it shores up their defense, and it definitely helps. And basically, when people say, like in a trade, you say, who won the trade? Did Seattle win the trade or the Jets win the trade? They both won because the Jets got to move somebody and get draft pick that wasn't happy being in New York. That Jamal Adams has made it very public.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't happy. It was basically, I've listening to him for the last couple of months, how he didn't want to stay in New York. He wanted to be moved somewhere else. A lot of people were thinking Dallas was going to be the location.
I was one of them.
End up. But they ultimately couldn't get a deal worked out. He goes to Seattle, so he adds some defensive punch. Does it make them a team? Does it put them over the top? No. But it does help them as far as a playoff push. And, you have a lot of experience. I'm never going to count Russell Wilson out. But, I mean, this is some good news for the Seattle Seahawks and for the city in general. By the way, who got the announcement, the 32nd NHL team, they got their announcement of their team's name. The Seattle Kraken saw the logo, the announcement video last week. It looks really cool. You've got to be excited for them to be getting their NHL team. There's going to be some buzz there up in the Northwest.
Yeah, and, they're right there close to, Canada. So,
right there.
It's amazing that they haven't already done that, But, what are you going to do? What else is going on, man? UFC had a pretty good weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, fight night. They had their UFC Fight Island again,
Abu Dhabi.
Till and Whitaker put on a great fight. Still looking to see both of these guys down the road fight again, maybe a rematch, but, fights against other potential guys coming up. Costa Adesanya is going to be happening in September, it sounds like. It's probably going to be taking place in Vegas. That's one sport that they've done a pretty good job. I mean, and really, it's because of the amount of people involved. I mean, they've been very aggressive as far as all of the testing and the travel restrictions. They've been very organized. They've been able to, deal with this since April and May. They've been sort of like testing, literally and figuratively what they're going to be doing to going forward with the UFC, and it's been working pretty well. Again, this past weekend, no positive tests. Good. They had put on another good event. I thought I really would miss the crowds when I saw the first UFC event without the crowds. And while I would still like to see crowds and fans there,
sure,
it's added a different degree to hear everything going on in the corner. You get to hear the punches when the guy kicks somebody in the side of the head. You get to hear it. That's kind of neat too.
Yeah, no, that is neat. And you know what? You and I have been to our fair share of live UFC pay-per-view events in the audience, and it's super quiet when the fights go. You can hear it there. I mean, so it's similar to that, other than you don't get the big uproar when there's, a takedown or a knockout or something like that. You're missing that. But for the most part, those pay-per-views are super, super quiet while you're in the arena. So, yeah, no, that's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, Dana White, I mean, he's been an innovator, I think, amidst the pandemic. And that's cool because we know he's that way. I mean, we've been around the guy quite often, and he's just that way. He's a winner, always will be. And I like what he's done. I'm thinking NFL Island? Island?
That would be great. We're going to take all the teams to Abu Dhabi.
Take them all to Abu Dhabi, man. Just rent out like 20 acres, throw down a sod field, and let's go. Look like Jim Thorpe days out there. It'd be cool.
I'd be okay with it. I think the only thing is the start times for the games. I mean, you're going to watch in games like really late.
Yeah.
That'd be a DVR for me, and I guess have to watch them later. No, I mean, man, it seems like a nightmare, Frank. We're not going to wake up from, man.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. I think this is again, we are in, something we never thought we'd be in. And, if this is a dream, please wake me up.
Yeah, same here. And, man, I did read where last night, I think, or the night before, a person drowned in the Bellagio Lake. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, check that out. I think it was a less fortunate person, and there's a lot of those around Las Vegas. Sadly to say, but I think the response time from the LVPD was like 15 minutes, and that's on the Strip, man. I mean, that's scary. I don't know. No need to go down that road, Frank. Always a pleasure, man. Hopefully, we'll have good news next week on Vegas, Frank, against the odds.
Hey, good talking to you. We're hoping for good news. Yes, going forward.
All right, Frank Island coming soon.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
Bubble yum. We'll be right back. Sports Web 102.7.
And McCarty's coming in from the bullpen with no warm-up. I cannot believe this. We've never seen a pitcher come to the mound without warming up. Let's see what happens. Whoa, that's a long one. Oh, and another. Whoa, that's 7 home runs this inning. If he would have only warmed up. In baseball, pitchers don't take the mound without warming up, so why would you take chances with your air conditioner when you need to cool down? Don't wait until it gets hot. Turn to the experts. Clean and service your unit today with Bowling Green Refrigeration, your authorized Carrier dealer. Bowling Green Refrigeration can service your Carrier unit and all other major units. Set up an appointment today, 270-782-5391. With a clean Carrier unit, there'll be no surprises this summer. Bowling Green Refrigeration, your comfort is their concern.
Watching new movies on demand demands Poston Electronics. Now that Hollywood's skipping the theater, choose Postons for big picture, big clarity, and big screen sound at home. While the theater's closed, Poston Electronics renovated and expanded, bringing Southern Kentucky more at home and on the go. It's what done since 1974, just bigger. Forget tickets for the family. Think of what you'll save on popcorn. On Demand is here to stay. For your home theater, demand Poston Electronics across from Firestone on Broadway Avenue.
So what's the deal with Big Green Egg Grills? Mike Keith here, letting you know if you're looking to grill, smoke, or bake on the highest quality grill out there, you need to see Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. They have the Big Green Egg, #1 for over 25 years and with good reason. With a lifetime warranty and best-in-class ceramics, this thing is awesome. There are no chemicals in Big Green Egg Lump Charcoal. And Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill has the best price in town. Just off the bridge on Old Louisville Road. BowlingGreenFireplace.com.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, boss.
I can make it across.
Well, then do it.
Well, you got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
On the Linux hotline, Gary on the Green. Coach Adam, Gary, WKU Lady Hilltoppers. Linux Bedliners, get over there and see Roger, Gina. Louisville Road, Porter Pike. Nobody does it better. Protect your golf ball when you're teeing off, especially if there's hazards or OBs. This guy will tell you how. What's up, man?
Oh, just heading up to do a little practice round for the Kentucky Open. So I'm going to be teeing it up at Triple Crown up near Cincinnati this week. So looking forward to it. Should be fun.
Yeah, you should stay at Belterra.
That's right. That's not too far away, actually.
No, it's not. That's a great hotel, man. Really nice. Man, I tell you, Michael Thompson gets what feels like his first win. You brought me back to 2013 a few minutes ago, and I realized you were actually right. This is his second win, but this guy, tell me a little bit about him. And $1.2 million over the weekend, a pretty good paycheck.
Yeah, I mean that's big for someone in a career anytime, but especially getting that second win. I mean he was pretty emotional in the interviews yesterday. They just adopted their second child, and obviously with the COVID stuff going on, his family's not able to be there with him. So he was pretty excited to get home to see them because he's obviously been working really hard trying to get back in the winner's circle. He practices and trains down at Sea Island. We didn't see him when we were down there this spring practicing a little bit, but I know a lot of those guys that go out there and use those facilities. So I was happy to see him win. Crimson Tide had a good weekend. So I think that's a good win for him, and hopefully he can kind of keep it going throughout the fall now that it's really starting to ramp up with the major championships, the FedEx Cup coming up. It's going to be a action-packed fall with golf, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's hope that hangs in there because golf's done a great job through this pandemic of giving us something to watch and staying safe, unlike Major League Baseball, who you heard the news about that. So let's hope we get our majors in and stuff. Tiger not playing, though, in the FedEx St. Jude.
I know. I really don't understand why he's not playing more unless there's some injuries or something going on.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he is worried about COVID, but like you said, the PGA Tour has done such a good job, and if any sport can social distance and play, it's going to be golf. So I think he's really missing an opportunity here to prepare for these majors. I don't know. It's tough to tee it up in a major, and you haven't played a tournament in a few weeks. So I don't know what that means for him, but I don't know if the window is going to stay open very much longer. I mean, he's got kind of a short career list here, so hopefully he'll be able to get the training and reps in that he needs to be ready for those majors this fall.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm sure he's playing golf, but you can't really mimic, a 4-day tournament with a cut by going out and playing 18 for 4 days, and tallying up. It's just not the same thing, No,
it's not. No, I think you've got to get competitive rounds. I always felt like I learned more at a tournament than I did in practice at home, so I feel like if he's not getting the reps in, he's really putting himself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, same here. Man, golf tip-wise, I've played the last couple weekends, and, I've noticed just things that I do that come with, non-consistency, and that's not getting to play much. And, for those guys who are like myself that don't get to play, I love the 100 swings a day, and I don't do it every day, but I try to do it throughout the week as many times as I can, and that totally helps because when I do get on the tee, I don't feel like I'm starting from scratch and having to wait 5-6 holes to get warmed up. I'm already got the muscle memory, but other than 1,000 strokes, what's something you can do in your basement, your garage, while you're not being able to play, just to keep you ready to where you don't feel foreign when you get on the tee?
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do if you're not taking practice swings, if you're maybe just in the house and things like that, is to really check on your setup. I mean, just fundamentals. Hammering out those fundamentals are so important. Work on your ball position, work on your alignment. I love tile floors. Those are great because there's grid already on the ground for you. You can kind of see where the ball's lined up, ball position-wise with your feet, where you're aiming. Obviously, if you have a mirror or something like that nearby, that would be good too, where you can kind of check your posture. Those things are easy to do, especially during the off season when the weather's not so hot. But it can also be true, like you said, when you're busy working. I know there's a lot of people having to put in extra hours and things right now. But honestly, anything you can do is going to be value added. That's just going to give you a little bit of peace of mind when you step on the tee next time you get to play.
Yeah, and tell me if I'm right here. A lot of times I'll do exactly what you just said. I'll use I've got big rugs throughout my house because I have hardwood floors. But on those rugs are many different lines and circles and geometric shapes. I use those as pretend holes. I line up with the carpet lines and see how straight my back and forth. I mean, so there's so many little things like that you can do, and you can line up in front of that mirror and mimic your swing off the tee, like you said, your ball position, all of those things. You can really do a lot of stuff without a golf club in your house.
Absolutely. And, I mean, things that I've done even, too, is just visualize. I think visualization is something that's overlooked a lot, that you can actually go through your home course or the course you're going to be playing that weekend with your buddies, or in my case, it might even be a tournament. But we do that with a golf team up at Western. Get all the yardage books out, look at it, kind of prepare yourself for what clubs you're going to have to hit off the tees, make the decision ahead of time which side of the tee box you're going to tee up on. All those things that you can do just to kind of save you some time to where you don't skip a step when you're playing, I think is going to be useful.
Gosh, that is great information. Gary on the green every week. Last question.
DJ, how extensive is his back injury?
I don't know. I mean, after that win, to go from shooting 25 under to having a hard time breaking 80, it just goes to show you how these elite athletes, if something's not quite right, it can really throw everything out of whack with their golf swing. So hopefully he can recover soon, too. Like you said, he doesn't have a whole lot of time before these majors start back up, so hopefully it's not too serious.
It's crazy. We focus so much on this COVID thing, we forget that these sports that are rolling, the normal setbacks, we start, you kind of overlook them, but there's a prime example of one. Even though you're getting to play, some guys are still not getting to play. So, hey, man, appreciate you. We're gonna close it up, shut her down tonight. Appreciate everybody coming in an hour early for the show. I got the Reds coming up shortly, but, man, appreciate you.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
ESPN 102.7 Sports Web.